Perfect.
All right, everybody, what is going on, man? Y'all, welcome to today's edition of SWAC Talk. Of course, this is the show we cover the SWAC inside and out. And as you can see, I am your tour guide around the SWAC. See what's coming at you. And we have finally made it through a chaotic SWAC basketball season. The last day of the season was just as chaotic as the rest of the season. It was a fitting end to the season. So we're going to talk about, we're going to go over the scores from Saturday's action. We're going to look at the brackets. I'm going to give my predictions, and I'm going to give you my winner of the men's and women's tournament champs and the teams who will be going on to the NCAA tournament. So that's pretty much everything that we're going to cover today, man. We're going to, get in and do our thing and get up out. Y'all can hit those socials. Facebook is SWAC Talk, Twitter, SWAC Talk. 76 Instagram SWAC Talk. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. If you have, thank you very much. If you haven't, man, go ahead and hit that button, man. It's free 99, so go ahead and hit that button and subscribe to the channel. Hit that notification bell to be alerted to anything that I drop. Like the videos and share them. And make sure, like I said, make sure you hit that notification bell, because this week during the tournament, I'm gonna be doing recaps of each session. Pretty much right after they happen. So you don't want to miss those videos that drop. And just, that way you just stay on task with everything that's coming your way. We got SWAC Smoke coming on Thursday, 6 p.m. Central, 7 p.m. Eastern. Like I said, and then we got recaps of every tournament session from the first set of quarterfinals to the championship round. And then we'll have overall thoughts and things after the tournament, and then we'll talk about the selections when they come through later on. So let's go ahead and jump right into it, man. We're gonna start on the women's side of things. That's how we've been doing it all year. We're gonna keep on doing it that way. On the women's side, man, we'll look at the scores first, and then we'll look at the standings, and then we'll go from there. So Texas Southern lost to Prairie View 57-65. Bethune-Cookman beat FAMU 80-69. Pine Bluff beat Alcorn 74-66. Alabama State lost to Grambling by a score of 62-60. Southern beat Alabama A&M 66-53. And Jackson State beat Valley by a score of 84-65. Looking at how the standings, how they finished up overall, how the race finished up. All right. Jackson State, regular season champs, 17-1, 20-8 overall. They closed out the season on a 14-game winning streak. That was a four-way tie for second place, and we'll say how it finished when we go through the brackets. Alabama A&M finished 12-6, 15-14 overall. They finished on a two-game losing streak. Southern finished 12-6. They were 15-14. They finished on a two-game winning streak. Prairie View was 12-6, 15-14. They finished winning their last game, and Alabama A&M finished 12-16. 12-6, 14-14, and they lost their last game. Pine Bluff and Bethune-Cookman finished tied for the sixth place spot at 10-8. Pine Bluff was 10-8, 12-16. They won one. Bethune-Cookman 10-8, 11-17. They won one. Grambling 8 place, 9-9, 10-19 overall. They won one. Alcorn finished 8-10, 12-17. They lost one. FAMU 4-14, 6-23. They lost one. Texas Southern 2-16, 2-27 overall. They lost 4 games in a row. And Valley finished 0-18 and a 2-27 record. They lost 21 straight games. So not a good end of this, not a good season for the Delta Devils. Hopefully they can rebound. The teams that did not make the tournament are Alcorn, FAMU, Texas Southern, and Valley, and that leads us um, to the brackets itself. Game one, which will be on Wednesday, March 8th at 11 a.m. That's the 7 seed Pine Bluff against the 2 seed Alabama A&M. So through the tiebreakers and everything, Alabama A&M came out with the 2nd seed. Game two will be also on Wednesday. That's March 8th at 5:30 p.m. That's the 1 seed Jackson State taking on the 8 seed Grambling State. And then on game three, which is on Thursday, March 9th at 11 a.m., number 3 Alabama State takes on number 6 Bethune-Cookman. And then to wrap up the quarterfinals, it's game 4, March 9th, 5:30 p.m. Number 4 Southern against number 5 Prairie View A&M. And as you all know, these games are at Bartow Arena in Birmingham, Alabama. So let's look at my thoughts on the bracket, and I'll give my predictions and some of the reasons why I feel like why I feel the way I feel about some of these games. So obviously the 8 seed versus 1 seed. These teams only played once. Jackson State won that only matchup. They'll win this game here. This is the best team in the league. It's going to be a challenge for everybody to face off against Jackson State. So I think they'll beat Grambling. And move on. And then on their side of the bracket, for the 4-5 matchup, I've got Southern beating Prairie View in that matchup. Now both of these teams, they split the regular season series. Both teams won at home. Southern won the most recent matchup by double digits. Prairie View, I think they won it by 3 or 4 points. Right now, these two teams, they're both playing pretty well. Prairie View scores more. They score about 5 more points than Southern does, but Southern defensively allows like 9 points less. So Southern defensively, I think, is capable of slowing down Prairie View. They've done it. They've done it twice. Prairie View was able to win that first matchup. Southern's defense, I think, helps them a lot in games like this. They are just a team that can play pretty sound defense. They're not the best offensive team when it comes to shooting. So that if there's one thing that I would say could hurt Southern in this game is the fact that they shoot 56% from the free throw line. That's gonna kill you come tournament time. You have to be able to make your free throws. That just goes without saying. But Southern has been kind of hot the last few games. Southern actually leads the conference in 3-point field goal percentage in conference play. They're shooting about 34%. So they've shot the ball pretty well in conference play. Prairie View is right behind them at 31%. These are the top 2 teams in 3-point defense. So again, this is a pretty even matchup. Southern doesn't make a lot of threes. Well, they make about 4.5. Prairie View makes 6.6. So they're Prairie View's first in the league in that number. Southern 7th. So I just think these two teams, I think they match up pretty well, but I think Southern's going to find a way to win. Neither team rebounds the ball that well. So, Southern is pretty good on keeping opponents off the boards. They're second in opponent rebounds. Prairie View is 7th. So I think Southern can win that matchup on the boards if they can, and if they can play the kind of defense that they've been capable of playing. Turning teams over. I think they can find a way to win this game. Prairie View averages 18 turnovers a game, and they force 19.8. Southern forces 19 turnovers a game and averages 15. So that kind of plays into their hands. So I think Southern will win this game. I think it's going to be close. I think this game is going to be close. If it becomes a free throw battle, you kind of got to go with the team that's more consistent at the line. But right now, I think Southern will win that game and move on to the second round. number 7 Pine Bluff against number 2 Alabama A&M. This is a pretty interesting matchup. These two teams, they split in the season. They split the season series. And I thought Pine Bluff was one of the teams who probably could finish higher than they did. Pine Bluff is the number 2 team in rebounding. Alabama A&M is right behind them. Both teams are pretty solid in keeping the opponents off the boards. They both have a solid rebounding margin. They're 2 and 3 in rebounding margin. Pine Bluff out rebounds their opponents by almost 5 a game. A&M almost 3 a game. So this is going to be a rebounding battle. These two teams, Pine Bluff is second in the league in scoring offense, so they can definitely put points on the board. Defensively, A&M is third in defense, so they are a pretty solid team when it comes to defensive points allowed. Opponents' field goal percentage, both these teams are pretty solid at playing defense. So this should be a really, really, really physical game. Pine Bluff's been up and down through most of the season. They haven't really found a rhythm. They finished only 2 games out of that second place tie, so they're not that far out. Pine Bluff, neither team is a really good 3-point shooting team. Pine Bluff shoots about 27%. A&M shoots about 26%. Defensively, A&M is pretty solid at defensive 3-point percentage. They allow 26%, and A&M is at 29%. So like I said, I think this is going to be one of those games that you kind of see both teams kind of go at it. I think they'll battle it out. But I got the Bulldogs winning this matchup. I think they are just playing a little bit better. They coming off of a loss, but that was a game that they had battled against Southern. They had battled back, but Southern ultimately was able to pull away at the end. So I like Alabama A&M to move on to the second round in this tournament, and they will face the winner of Bethune-Cookman and Alabama State. These two teams split 2 close games. I think they both were overtime games. So Alabama State's kind of on a slide to finish the season. Bethune-Cookman's playing, they're playing okay. They had some lose, they had picked up a couple losses toward the end of the season and closed out on a strong note. Bethune-Cookman, they do shoot the 3 well. They shoot about as well as most teams do in the league. They shoot about 29%. Alabama State's right there at 30%. So neither one of them are really, really good, but they're capable. Bethune-Cookman opponents shoot 28% from 3, and Alabama State's opponents shoot 32% from 3. When you look at the scoring numbers, Bethune-Cookman averages 61 points per game. Alabama State is at 66. Bethune-Cookman allows 60 points per game. Alabama State allows 66. So this can be a game that can kind of get up and down. Both teams have scorers. They both have somebody that can light it up. Both teams are about around the midpoint in shooting percentage. Rebounding, I think to me in tournament play, free throws and rebounds and taking care of the ball are very important. Bethune-Cookman, they are 7th in the league in rebounding. Alabama State's right behind them. They're both at like 35 rebounds a game. The opponents, Alabama State's opponents average 34 rebounds a game, Bethune-Cookman 38. So not a huge difference. And like I said, I always look at turnovers. Bethune-Cookman, they are third in the league in turnover margin. They average 17 turnovers a game. They force 20.8, which leads the league. So they definitely do a good job of turning you over. Alabama State averages 18 turnovers a game. So that can play into Bethune-Cookman's hands in this game. That's one of those things that I definitely will always keep an eye out on. When you look at some of the individual people in the league, like I said, you got the top 2 scorers in conference play in this matchup. You got Ayana Emanuel from Alabama State. She's averaging 16.9 points per game. Chanel Wilson from Bethune-Cookman, she's averaging 16.8. Jayla Crawford from Alabama State is also up there. She's averaging 15.1 points per game. So there are some people in this game that can definitely put the ball in the basket. I don't know, I don't know if it was the matchups late in the season that kind of hurt Alabama State but Bethune-Cookman also brings in Kayla Clark, who is the second leading rebounder in the conference at 7.9 rebounds per game. So I think this is going to be a very good matchup right here. This is a 3-6 matchup, but when you look at the overall seedings, 2 through 6 are honestly it's only a 2-game difference between a 2 seed and a 6 seed. So that's not a big big difference between these teams. And these two teams split in the season. So I think Bethune-Cookman is going to find a way to win. This is their first time in the SWAC tournament. I think the Lady Wildcats are going to pull this one out. That late, these last 2 games were big for Alabama State, and they dropped them both. That doesn't really sit really well with me. I don't. It's hard to pick teams that aren't really playing at their best coming into the tournament because it's hard to turn it on and turn it off. So I'm going to go with Bethune-Cookman in this one. I think it's going to be a really exciting. This will probably be the highest scoring game between the two teams because I think Jackson State will score a lot of points on their own. But I think between the two teams, I think this will be probably the highest scoring game in the first round. And that sets up a second round series of games. Jackson State and Southern, 4 versus 1. Jackson State won this series 1-0, and this was a game that Southern led for a good stretch of the third quarter before Jackson State pulled away. Southern does play pretty well against Jackson State. I think that defense keeps them in those kind of games, but Jackson State is battle tested. Like I said, Southern, that at some point I feel like Southern's free throw problems are going to catch up with them. And in a game like this, every point is vital. You have to cash in on your free throws in a game like this. You have to make shots. Southern's shooting the ball pretty well from 3, but I don't really think this is a game that you depend on your 3-point play, your 3-point shooting. But if it's there, you take it because you're at a disadvantage inside with size. But I think Jackson State's going to move through this game. I think Southern's going to do their best to do what Southern does, and that's make games ugly. You keep it ugly. Maybe you get up and down off of turnovers, but other than that, you just play defense and let the chips fall where they may. But I think Jackson State will win this game and move on to the championship game. The 6th seed Bethune-Cookman is my pick. Like I said, over Alabama State, and I got them playing the 2 seed Alabama A&M. Again, this is another matchup. These two teams split. Bethune-Cookman, I like I said, I like this team a lot. I may be slightly overrating them a little bit, but I think that they're a team who can really put the ball in the basket. They play pretty sound defense, and like I said, they turn you over, which definitely helps. A&M, they don't score a lot of points. They only average 56 points a game, but they're a very good defensive team. They allow 61 points per game on defense. So they don't score a lot, but they can really stop you from scoring. Which when you look at their record and you look at the number of points they score and the number of points they give up, you would figure that they would struggle. But they are a team that are very solid on defense. They're second in the league in field goal percentage on defense. I think that's something that helps against a team like this. Bethune-Cookman is not a great shooting team, but they got a way of getting they got a way of finding a way to get points, whether it's off of turnovers or, if they just are able to execute in their half court, because they are like a mid-level team in all phases of shooting from the field. So they just find a way to make things happen. Alabama A&M is really good on defense. They are on their second in 3-point percentage defense. So that's definitely something that's going to help them against Bethune-Cookman. A&M only shoots 26% from the 3-point line as a team. So that's if it becomes a shooting contest, I don't like the Bulldogs in that aspect. But if it's a game that is slower tempo and A&M can control the boards, which they average almost 30. They average 38 rebounds a game. Bethune-Cookman is allowing opponents to average 40 rebounds a game, so that's pretty much right up there with what A&M likes to do. I think the physicality of the Bulldogs is their advantage in this game, but I think in tournament play sometimes a lot of it, people hate to hear this, but sometimes a lot of time in tournament play, it depends on the referees how they call these games. These teams are playing in an arena that a lot of the players haven't played in, especially Bethune-Cookman. They haven't played here. They haven't been in the SWAC. They haven't been in the tournament. So this is all the SWAC tournament. This is all new for them. So can they be successful in a situation like this? Can they handle winning a first round game and then turning around and playing again on Friday against another high level opponent? That's gonna be the key. But I like Alabama and them for what I see from them defensively. Their offense just always makes me nervous. You just don't really know unless they can just totally slow you down. If it becomes up and down game, can they keep up? And I think Bethune-Cookman can speed this game up just enough. And I think the Wildcats are gonna pull an upset, man. Like I said, I think they're gonna make it to the final. I think they will beat Alabama A&M and move on as the 6th seed to face Jackson State. Now, if you want to keep it real, it don't really matter who makes it on the other side to face Jackson State. I had Jackson State winning this tournament since before the season started, so I don't even really feel like anybody's a good matchup against them. I mean, the only team to beat them was Prairie View, and they finished 5th. And they got beat pretty soundly the second time they played. So I don't really see anybody beating them, and I think this is as close as a lock as you're gonna get to any team in any tournament. So Jackson State will win this tournament. They won both games against Bethune-Cookman, but I like the Cinderella story of the new team in their second year making the tournament for the first time and making a nice little run. I think that they'll make it there and they'll put up a fight, but I think Jackson State got too much, and they'll make it to the NCAA tournament where hopefully they can pick up a win if they get a better seed and a better matchup. That maybe they can pick up a win in the tournament. This Coach Reed definitely deserves it. Her and her program, they deserve a tournament win in the NCAA tournament in the worst way. So I'm gonna go with JSU in this one to win the women's tournament. Now let's switch gears and let's switch to the men's side, man. What a crazy end to the day, man. I mean, you pretty much were set in terms of who would finish where and would finish how they would finish. There were a couple of races that needed to come down to the last game. If some teams won, they may find themselves in if they were able to get the chaos that they needed. A few of these games were just for seeding, and we ended up with co-champs. Alcorn and Grambling, they both won their last game. Alcorn beat Grambling, so Alcorn gets the 1 seed in the tournament. But the season ended just as crazy as this season has been going. Southern Alabama A&M was scheduled to play the next to last game of the day. The game was delayed for about 2.5 hours, 2 hours. Campus-wide power outage at Southern. I didn't stay, man. I left before the game. I sat in that dark arena for about an hour. I wasn't gonna stay there that much longer sitting in the dark. So I went home. Game started, I guess, about 7:30 or so, maybe closer to 8 o'clock. But this was, Southern Alabama, and then they battled it out. The Bulldogs were, they took the lead midway first half and never relinquished. Southern did get it down to 1 late, but A&M was able to make free throws to put this game away. Bulldogs win 68-65. And making it a really, really entertaining end to the season, chaotic as usual. SWAC basketball, it gets no better than that. FAMU dropped a 91-70 decision to Bethune-Cookman. And Bethune-Cookman got a little petty afterwards on their social media. They said they couldn't have made the tournament without FAMU. And it's true because they beat FAMU twice. So them 2 wins helped them get in, including the last win of the season. So the Wildcats send the Rattlers their regards on helping them make the SWAC tournament for the first time since they've been in the SWAC. Prairie View beat Texas Southern in a tight game, 78-74. Getting themselves a better seed and making Texas Southern have to sweat it out a little bit at the end of the day. But Grambling beat Alabama State 69-49, and Alcorn beat Pine Bluff 63-58. And in what would have been the last game of the day, Jackson State beat Valley 68-60. Valley put up a fight, but they ultimately couldn't really get over the hump in that game against Jackson State. So that sets up. Well, before we do that, let's look at how the season ended standing wise. Grambling finished 15-3, 22-8. First 20+ win season in like 45 years, 43 years. 9 wins straight to end the season. Alcorn finished 15-3, 18-12. They finished on a 3-game winning streak. If either one of these teams win the tournament, the SWAC will have a 20-game winner make the postseason, which is definitely a good. 20 wins is just a good benchmark for a college basketball team. So either one of these teams win the tournament, they will get the 20 wins. Nobody else can make it to 20 wins. Not that any other team has been playing well enough to get there anyway. But Jackson State finished third. 12-6, 13-18 overall. They won 4 games in a row to finish out the season. Southern 11-7, 15-16. They lost 1, and you're gonna hear people really talk about if there should be changes made at Southern, and that's something that I don't really think this is the time to talk about it right now heading into the tournament. But after the season over with, we'll definitely visit that topic. There's a lot of people who feel like Southern didn't finish. I mean, Southern started 8-1 in conference play, finished 3-6. So you really can't do that. But A&M finished 10-8, 14-17. They won their last game. Prairie View 9-9, 13-18. They won their last game. Bethune-Cookman 8-10, 12-19. They won their last game. Texas Southern finished 7-11. They finished 11-20. They lost their last 3. Texas Southern is a team who I still think is dangerous. Because yes, they started off with 0-5, 0-6, or something like that, but they found their stride in the middle of the season, and they were competitive in a lot of games late. They got blowed out by Grambling late, but they battled Alcorn. They beat Southern in Baton Rouge. So this is a team who has guys who can put the ball in the basket if they get hot. And this is a team that's used to playing in March, so you can't discount that. It's a little bit tougher to say that that they can make a run when they're the 8th spot, but it's possible. You get in and find out what all you want to do is get in. Once you get in, things start to even up. So they made it in when it looked like they weren't. So there's gonna be a tough first round matchup for a tournament opponent. Pine Bluff finished 6-12, 10-21. They lost 9 games in a row. If you're a Southern fan, thank whoever you pray to that you're not Pine Bluff, because this team was 6-3 at the halfway point of the season, and they lost every game after that. They just fell completely off the face of the earth. And they went from being solidly in the tournament to sitting at home. So I think there's some questions got to be answered about that. There's no reason for a team to lose that many games and not be like the last place team. That's just inexcusable to me. Bama State, the same thing, 6-12, 8-23 overall. They were 6-6 after the first half of the season. Through the first 12 games, they were 6-6. And they lost their last 6 games and didn't look good in a lot of those games. I watched this team play. I don't think their offense had any flow. They were one of those teams that I don't even want to call it ISO ball. It was really just, just a guy dribbling, not even really dribbling to make anything happen. You just dribbling yourself further and further away from the basket. Then, 2 or 3 seconds left in the shot clock, you jack up a three, tough shot, and hope that you make it. Now, FAMU was the same way. 5-13, 7-12. They finished on a 3-game losing streak. Their offense never really got going. A lot of people feel like some changes should be made at coach here. They coach did not play their best shooter for multiple stretches of games. Games that were very winnable. They played against Southern. They lost by 1. Their best shooter didn't come on the floor again until 2 seconds left in the game. So, playing a guy like that who can shoot the 3 and one of the few guys who can light it up from outside for your team, not getting the minutes in key situations is definitely a situation that can cause you to finish 5-13. I'm not saying if you played Dominguez Stevens all game long, in those games they will win, but you always want to give yourself the best chance of winning, man. You want to get your best shooters out there. Some of these teams, the rotations are very shitty and very inconsistent. I think rotations was a problem with Southern. Southern, their rotation changed in the middle of the season, and it really caused this team to have some lulls. And when you have a point guard who can't handle pressure, coming off the bench and playing 15 minutes a game, it's tough to beat anybody, man, because when your top guy comes out and this guy comes in, your offense is not going to be anywhere near the same. And then when the first unit comes back out, they got to make up the dip. They got to spend most of the half making up ground. And that's if you want to look at the difference between first half Southern and second half Southern is the rotations change. And that, that's just, that's coaching. Yeah, there were no guys who really were injured who play heavy minutes. So there was really no reason to change your rotation. But you change your rotation, you play zone defense where you didn't need to. And that's just one of those things. But Valley closed out the season at 4-14, 5-27 overall. They lost their last 2 games, but Valley was in most of the games they played. I think Valley was a very competitive team all season. I think they fought hard game in and game out. So that leads us to the men's bracket. We'll start off with the first round, if my computer will act right. Alcorn is the 1 seed. Let's start with game 1. Game 1 is Wednesday, March 8th at 2 o'clock. Number 2, Grambling takes on number 7, Bethune-Cookman. Game 2 is also Wednesday, March 8th at 8:30 p.m. Number 1, Alcorn takes on number 8, Texas Southern. The game 3 will be Thursday, March 9th at 2 o'clock. Number 3, Jackson State against number 6, Prairie View. And game 4, which is the nightcap of March 9th, Thursday, March 9th, that's an 8:30 tip. Number 4, Southern is playing number 5, Alabama A&M. The first semifinal is game 5. That's Friday, March 10th at 2 o'clock. Second semifinal is March 10th at 8:30. And the championship game is Saturday, March 11th at 4:30 p.m. Looking at my predictions for this tournament for the men's side, I got Texas Southern and Alcorn. They face in the first round. Texas Southern did drop both games to Alcorn, and I think Alcorn will win this game. When the last time these two teams played, man, they had a nice scoring battle between. They had a nice scoring battle between some of their guys, and I think that this will be another game where Texas Southern puts up I think they're gonna put up a good fight in this game. But I think that when you look at this Alcorn team, I think they understand how to win. They understand how to get where they want to go. It's really just gonna be one of those situations where if Alcorn plays solid, they'll if they play solidly, then they'll find themselves in a good spot. These two teams, the last time they played, Jeremiah Kendall, he had I think he had like 38, and PJ Henry for Texas Southern had like 41. So these two teams both went, they both went at it, but Alcorn was there to get the victory. I think that this is going to be a little bit of a tighter matchup. I mean, it's the first game of the the second game of the tournament, but the first game, one of the first games of the first round. So there's going to be some nerves and some pressure. But I think Alcorn is playing good basketball. I mean, they don't really blow your socks off, but they're a team who are gonna be in it at the end. I mean, these are the top two teams in scoring offense and overall all numbers. When you switch it over to conference play, these two teams are both in the top half of the conference in scoring offense. So they both score the ball well. Alcorn is a little bit better at scoring defense, about 2 points. Neither team. Alcorn doesn't really shoot that great in conference play. Texas Southern is at 43%, Alcorn 41%. That's good. It's not great, but it's like seventh in the league at 41%. Alcorn defensively, their opponents shoot 44%. Texas Southern opponents shoot 43%. That's even. 3-point percentage. These two teams, neither team shoots above 30% from three. They're both at 29 for Alcorn, 28 for Texas Southern. So whoever can make some threes in this game, I think is going to be the difference. Both teams' opponents shoot 33% from three. Alcorn makes they make about 5 threes a game. Texas Southern makes 4.8. So if somebody can get hot, and both these teams have guys who can hit their shot, I think that's going to be one of the biggest differences in this game. Because on the boards, Texas Southern leads the league in rebounding. Alcorn is at 34 rebounds per game. Texas Southern at 37. Texas Southern's opponents average 35 rebounds a game. Alcorn's opponents average 33. So, it's gonna be a tight affair, man. But I think Alcorn gonna win this game. I think they have unfinished business from last season. Losing to Texas Southern in the championship doesn't sit. That doesn't sit well with you. But they were able to make it to the end, but they couldn't finish the deal. So I think they know that it's unfinished business, and I think they're gonna finish the job this time and get to the championship again. The other game on that side of the bracket is Alabama A&M and Southern. I mean, y'all see my hat, but it hurts me, man, so much to watch this team play because I know that this team is capable of doing a lot more, but Alabama A&M has more size inside than Southern. They are one of the better shooting teams in the league. They shoot threes pretty well. They lead the league in 3-point shooting at 37%. Southern was up there, but they hit a cold streak toward the end of the season, so they're at 33%. Southern they do defend the three pretty well, but A&M just they're just one of those teams that has an answer for everything that Southern has done. If you look at the game Saturday, every time Southern cut the lead down, the Bulldogs will make a run and extend the lead again. Southern just they're just one of those teams who they I don't know, man. They're very frustrating because the potential is there, but they just aren't executing at a high level right now. And in a one and done situation, you got to go with a team that you feel a little bit more comfortable with. And I feel like A&M got Southern's number when they beat them twice. They blew them out once, and they had a game that they basically controlled from like the midpoint of first half on. So I Southern will have to show it to me in this game, and I don't really think that they got it right now. So I'm going with the Bulldogs to win this game. Like I said, this is only a 1-game difference in the standings between the two teams, so it's not like this is some crazy upset. I got Alabama and them winning this game and moving on to the second round. That brings us to the 2-7 matchup, Bethune-Cookman and Grambling. These two teams played a couple close games, and Bethune-Cookman does have some I like to say, Bethune-Cookman has shooters. They can shoot the ball. Um, they are second in the league in 3-point shooting at 36%. Grambling shoots 35% from three, and I think a lot of people don't realize that Grambling can shoot. Grambling's a team that's defensively they're monsters. They smother you on defense. They don't allow you to really score a lot of points. They don't allow you really to get comfortable shooting the ball, and they're very physical. So, they don't play the style of ball that's sexy. They don't play the style of ball that's going to lead to a lot of, up and down the court action. But, you got Gordon, Christian, Moden, Coward, and all those guys, man, they all play good defense. And defense is what gets you through tournaments. And Grambling's another team that I feel like probably got unfinished business. They didn't have a good second round game against Texas Southern, and that cost them an opportunity to make it to the championship. So, it's just one of those things that I think that they're gonna win this game because of their defense. Bethune-Cookman, like I said, they can shoot the ball, but they're a very inconsistent team. You don't know what you're gonna get from them game in and game out, and this is a tough matchup for them in the first round. If they would have had a better matchup, I would give them a better chance. But I think Grambling is the better team in this matchup, and I think they'll win it because I think Grambling is on a mission to get to that championship and win it and make it to their first NCAA tournament. So I don't see Bethune-Cookman beating them. And that leads us to our 3-6 matchup, which is Jackson State and Prairie View. I picked this game for one reason, man, and one reason only. The SWAC always has one game that just doesn't go the way anybody thinks it's gonna go. No matter what round it is, it's always gonna be one game that you just like, what the hell? And this is that game to me. Prairie View and Jackson State. This is a 3-6 matchup. Prairie View scores more points than Jackson State. They give up less points than Jackson State. Jackson State has been up and down all year. They're hot. They've won. I think they've won their last 3 or 4 games to close out the season. Prairie View's a team who they are very streaky, man. They're a team who they don't have great shooting numbers, but they have guys that would throw up a lot of shots. And when you look at this is actually a game of 2 guys who shoot way too many threes for their teams. Colty Young shoots a lot of threes. He don't always make a lot of threes, but he shoots a lot of threes. Jeremiah Gambrell from Prairie View, he shoot a lot of threes. He might shoot 10 in a game and make 2. Or he might shoot 10 in a game and make 5. You don't know, man. I watched this dude make 4 threes in a row and then miss his next 4 or 5. So you got guys who will shoot a lot of threes. You know what I mean? It's like both of these teams they both make about 6 threes a game. Jackson State has taken 610 threes. Prairie View has taken 611, which are third and fourth in the league in 3-point attempts. You got Southern and Pine Bluff. Well, Pine Bluff shot almost 800 threes, and they made 31% of their threes, and that's probably one of the reasons why they're 6-12. Southern shot 718, so Southern's a team that shoots a gang of threes, but Prairie View and Jackson State shoot a lot of threes. They each have like one guy that shoots a lot of threes, and they don't really shoot them efficiently. If one of those guys gets hot for that team, then that's probably going to propel that team to the victory. I like Will Douglas from Prairie View. I think he's a solid guy. And Jackson State got some guys inside that are capable. And JSU just been finding ways to win games. They don't always look great, and that frustrates a lot of people. But they just find a way to win games, and that's pretty much where they stand right now. But I do like Prairie View in this game. I think they can get it done. I think they'll find a way to win. A guy like Yasuza Rosas is an underrated type of guy, man. He's a guy who can probably get you a double-double in a game like this. He's good. You can count on him to get 10 or 12 points and 10 rebounds. and play some solid defense. JSU is gonna have to, they're gonna have to find some things to work consistently. They haven't really did that. When you look at a team that finished third place, that's something weird to say. I think some people don't realize Jackson State is a good team. Some people think they're not. But I think Prairie View's going to win this game. And I said all of that to say I think Prairie View's going to win this game because the SWAC tournament always had one upset, and I picked this game as the upset. And that leads to our 1-5 matchup, Alcorn against Alabama A&M. I think Alcorn is going to find a way to win. The Bulldogs are going to be game. Like I said, they shoot three well, so that's going to keep them in games if they make their shots. If they don't, I don't know if they got a solid backup plan against a team like Alcorn, who is gonna, they're gonna defend you. They're not, they're not gonna be flashy, but they're gonna defend you and they're gonna make the plays when they count. They just play winning basketball. I mean, it's like no other way to really say this. They just play winning basketball, and that leads us to Grambling and Prairie View. This two teams split. Prairie View beat Grambling in the first game of the conference play in Prairie View, and Grambling beat Prairie View in Grambling. So. I feel like 1 and 2 are on a collision course for the championship, so I don't really feel like anybody's gonna get in the way of Alcorn and Grambling matching up for the second time this season. I think it's a shame that these two teams only played once this year. So I think Grambling's gonna win this game. I just love their defense, and when you're a team like Prairie View that shoot a lot and you're streaky, a team like Grambling is gonna eat that alive. So I think Grambling I think they'll win this game, and that's gonna set up a championship rematch. Well, not a rematch, but a championship matchup between 1 and 2. And, it's winner take all. The co-champs, Alcorn beat Grambling the only time they played in Grambling, ended Grambling's undefeated season at home in conference play. It's just, this is what we've been working for. When we were still sifting around, with Southern up there, hanging out with the top two guys. And, we didn't know where they were going to end up. It was pushing to one of those three teams, and Southern fell out, and these two teams stayed consistent, man. Alcorn, if you look at my video after Alcorn lost to Southern, a lot of people were saying Alcorn, we don't know. I'm like, don't ever count the Braves out, man. Don't ever count them out. Don't count Grambling out if they lose a game, because the defense is going to always keep them in games, and defense travels. But I did not know how to pick this game, so I did a coin flip, man. I did not look at this before. Let's stop that. I messed up. Y'all gotta bear with me for a second. I just totally messed up everything. I had no who to pick in this game. I think either team can win this game. So I did a coin flip, and I didn't look at the results. Heads will be Alcorn because they're the 1 seed. Tails will be Grambling because they're the 2 seed. Whatever this coin comes up is who I think is going to win the tournament. And let's see, because like I said, I did not look at this. Braves, big bad Braves, SWAC champs. That's the coin. I wrote on my paper Grambling, and it became Alcorn because of the coin flip. So the big bad Braves gonna go to the NCAA tournament. Grambling had a strong season, man. 22 wins. This will be their 9th loss, 2 Power 5 wins. That should get you in the NIT. I feel like I feel like you guarantee 2 teams in the postseason this season, because if Grambling wins the tournament, Alcorn's going to NIT because number 1 seed. If they don't win that tournament, enough to get them in the NIT. If they fall short, as long as they make it to the championship and fall short, I think they go to the NIT. So this is a win-win for the SWAC, man. You got 2 opportunities to go to the postseason, and I think Grambling definitely can win in the postseason. Alcorn, I think, is going to depend on who they match up with in the first 4. Now, if Alcorn doesn't win, if they don't win, they go to NIT. But I don't know where they're going to get matched up in the NIT. But I think Grambling, their resume should be good enough to help them out wherever they go. So that's my picks for the SWAC tournament, man. Like I said, I got Jackson State women winning and the Alcorn men winning. Well, the coin picked the Alcorn. I picked Groundling. But Jackson State and Alcorn, I got them picked to win. I got some upsets. I got some crazy stuff. So y'all make sure y'all check me out throughout the week. Like I said, we'll do recaps of all the action as as the sessions happen, and then after the tournament, we'll talk about everything that happened and give my thoughts and all of that. So, with that being said, man, I'm your tour guide around the SWAC Sewell signing out, and we'll catch y'all on the rebound. And we out of here. Peace.